Hey guys, what's going on? This is Shaun of the Dead here. Just wanted to put this out here again. My sentiment on gun control. Piss on it. This goes out to a special group of people that have raised my Irish ire. That Neil Heslin that went on there, and he was actually the father of one of the victims from the Sandy Hook shooting. Now, I am sorry for your loss. I truly am. But that doesn't allow you to start spouting off nonsense and start trying to take away my personal rights as an American citizen because you feel like you need vindication for something. Now, I want to do something else. Everyone knows how safety conscious I am of my firearms. Here is one of their evil mags. This is a 15-round capacity standardized mag for a Glock 19. Well, there is now a loaded firearm. We're going to see if this gun magically jumps up and shoots me throughout this video to see if that 15-round mag is so evil that it's going to kill me. Okay? So if I die and this video gets seen, then I will agree with all you anti-gun Nazis. Okay? All right. Now let's get to some of the points at hand here. I've had several people comment on my previous video, and I was talking about gun ban hearing by Shaun of the Dead, and I appreciate you guys hitting me up. One guy was talking about how I hit the nail on the head about why is there even an issue? There shouldn't be an issue. There's not. This Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. So story's over. You leave it alone. You cannot infringe on it. I had another guy. He said he's tired of watching the dog and pony show. I've heard that a lot from some of my friends. This guy, everyone's talking about how it's just this big essentially it's a kangaroo court. It's just this big circus. It's all about ooh ah shock and awe and all this crap. All it is just blowing smoke and propaganda. I don't like all the propaganda that's going on. And this one ridiculous senator guy, he keeps on and on and on. 100-round drum mag, 100-round drum mag. Oh, he went in there, and if it would have jammed, he would have killed a lot of people. And one of the guys rebutted, and I thought it was kind of funny. He was like, well, good, I'm glad he used that one because it's a piece of crap, and if he would have used it, he could have killed more people. And the guy was like, well, it's like that? And it's like, yeah, it's like that. If you understand anything about firearms, then you obviously know that beta mags are an inferior piece of equipment, or else the military would use them in their stuff. They don't. You know why? Whenever you see them going overseas to Iraq and Afghanistan, what do they use? They use 30-round mags. If he would have went in there with 3 or 4 30-round mags, he would have had 90 to 120-round capacity, and he would have been able to go through all those without one hiccup in his firearm, and he could have potentially slain a lot more people. Also, I believe that was a no CHL zone, too. So no one in there was allowed to have their concealed carry, which means that no one in there was able to stop him themselves. They just had to wait or get shot at and run. That's an awesome option. So far, we're like 3 minutes, almost 4 into it, and gun still hasn't shot me yet. So we're going to keep on going. One thing that he says in this response, and I hope you're watching, bro. I appreciate you watching. Thanks again. Please subscribe, man, and please leave more comments. Do video responses, man. Put them on up there. One thing that he says is there's a 2-ton gorilla in the room that was not touched, and that's prescription medication. Now, I'll tell you something. I work for a psychiatrist, and we deal with mentally deficient people all the way up to people that just happen to have slight issues that just need medication to line them out straight. From my understanding, for one, over the last decade or so, or even longer, all of the school shootings, I think except for one individual, they were either prescribed or on psychiatric medication because they had some type of a mental deficiency. So whenever you're talking about these type of deficiencies in people, they were already troubled. So there was already issues there. And Neil Heslin, I believe, or Heslin, something like that. Man, I understand your pain, okay? But the thing is you can't go off spouting about guns. There's mothers out there that are like mad, mothers against drunk drivers. People have killed their children by drunk driving. And you're kind of jumping on that bandwagon, but you're trying to do it with guns, which has nothing to do with the problem, and he was talking about prescription medication. Now, I want to take this a step farther and go on beyond what he just said. We've had a war on drugs in this country for how long? How many decades have we had the war on drugs? I can remember since I was a little kid, the war on drugs. How many deaths do we have each year from overdoses on drugs compared to gun-related crime? How many? I don't know the statistic. I didn't even bother to look it up. You know why? Because I'm so confident that the overdoses on drugs, I mean, look at the bath salt incident. That was a huge thing for a while. That was highly publicized, because a lot of people were killing themselves and ODing on drugs. A lot more than people get shot with gun-related crimes. And how many drunk drivers kill people with fatalities every year? I'm sure it's a hell of a lot higher than gun-related crimes. Now, I want to take this another step further. We're always talking about immigration in this country and all that kind of stuff. And people are always talking about, the Border Patrol is always having problems. And actually right now, technically we're under attack in America by the South American cartels are moving up into Arizona, and we haven't stopped that. But they're putting that under the rug. They're not talking about how we're being invaded in Arizona. On our sovereign land, we're allowing people to sit there and manufacture and distribute drugs to our people, to our children. Our children, the same high horse you're jumping on the gun bandwagon, you are letting these guys sit there and manufacture drugs on our soil when we have a war on drugs and let them distribute all that drugs right into our country, no problem, no questions asked. They're not even trying to go in there and stop that. So how's that war on drugs working out for you? It's going to work just as well as a gun ban will, because a criminal, by definition, as the lady said today, is a criminal. That means they're not going to follow the law. So me as a CHL holder, which I've said before, if I drive up to a store and they have and I get out of my car, I'm walking up to the store and I see the sign, no CHLs allowed. Well, crap. What do? I turn around and walk back to my car, get in, and I go someplace else. I will not give you my money. I will vote with my money elsewhere. And everyone out there should do the same thing. And now, the only caveat I'll do for that, I'll tell you what. If you want to pay for a security guard to come out to my vehicle, an armed security guard, not some retard with pepper spray, an armed security guard to come out there, walk me from my vehicle, walk me into your store, and walk around the whole store with me while I do my shopping to protect me from any dangers that I cannot protect myself from because you've de-armed me, then walk me back out to my car until I am back in my car, armed with my own firearm again, then sure, I'll come shop at your store. If you want to kick out that kind of expense for my safety, then I'm willing to leave my firearm in the car while I shop at your establishment. But until then, no, I ain't doing it. I'm not going to shop at your place. I'm going to keep my gun. I'm going to keep my rights. And I'm going to go and protect myself because I don't trust you. Because you don't want me in your store who's been fully vetted, but at the same time, it's okay for a criminal to come in there and do that. Because they're going to come in there with a gun anyway. They're already coming in there with malicious intent. They're already coming in there with a criminal intent to shoplift or rob or shoot you. I mean, they're already there. It's not a big deal to them. They're a criminal. We've established that. They're bad. So if you take away my ability to do this, and they mentioned some of this today, it's common sense. I mean, all this is common sense. I mean, if you have any intellect whatsoever, you're going to realize that this is just crap. And again, it's not a real issue because the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed, period. It doesn't say unless it just says shall not be infringed. So now, do I want guns in the hands of felons? No. Do I want guns in the hands of people that are mentally deficient, like some of these guys that's done these shootings? Of course not. But where do you draw the line between saying someone is okay and someone's not okay? Yeah. Do we need to screen more? Hey, that's fine. Now people are talking about registration. Oh, you got to register your guns and blah 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 blah. Well, so what? What does that even matter, really? I mean, most of the people that's in America are, going to be law-abiding citizens. If, like I said before, if they weren't, then this place would be an anarchy because it would be overrun by criminals. But it's not. So, you gotta figure out what's really the issue here. So, for one, this 15-round mag still has not jumped up out of my gun and killed me yet, and I'm hit the 11-minute mark now. So that lets me know that no matter how evil they think these things are, they are not evil. And I know this is a silly thing that I'm doing here, but I'm doing this for a specific reason. Because if they want to do this whole shock and awe, this whole propaganda thing, and speaking of propaganda, I was informed today by one of my buddies who happens to be fairly astute. He was talking, as mentioned, offhanded about the boiling, the frog in boiling water scenario where, as you slowly crank up the heat, frogs don't jump out of the water. And he advised me of the rest of the story. Kind of hit the quick and dirty, cliff notes of it. And essentially, part of the frogs were lobotomized. And so there are certain centers in the brain that didn't allow them to feel the heat, and they sit there and they boiled to death. Now, that is a great thing. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because that actually proves my point even more so. Because all you sheeple out there, as sheepdogs, we call you people out there that just follow blindly sheep. And since you're people, hence the word sheeple. Since you're a sheeple, I have to explain this to you. It's a sheepdog thing. You wouldn't understand. So here's the thing. You sheeple have been lobotomized by the propaganda of the media that is forced into this agenda. So as they're rocking their agenda and they're pushing their stuff on you, they're throwing all this crap at you. You're believing on all this lies and all this deceit and all this falsified information. You're not getting the full view and the big picture. You're getting what the media allows you to, and whoever's pulling their strings, which is obviously the anti-gun folks, because whenever you start to hear about other things, you hear a flash in the pan that fast about, oh, hey, someone stopped a shooting. And you don't hear no more about it. It's on the local news that night. It's a quick blurb and it's over. They hush it again. They don't ever talk about that kind of stuff. And they're not talking, like I said, they're not even talking about, us being invaded by cartels. And they're not stopping it. We can go to Iraq, we can go to Afghanistan, but we can't stop somebody in our own country? Really? Seriously? All volunteer? I've seen things where people are volunteered and they're walking down the no man's zone. They're walking that line and they say the people can't cross because on the other side there's where the cartels hang out. And people are walking back and forth and like, you shouldn't be here. And he's like, I'm an American citizen. I'm legal. This is my right. I'm walking around. I'm here to protect my country. And people were doing that, and they got upset with people because they were out there trying to defend our borders. So American citizens trying to defend our borders against a foreign, cartel that is feeding our children drugs and killing our people, that's fine. But, a psychopath illegally obtains firearms, then, because you said, oh, I believe they got them all legal, illegally obtains these firearms, and that's A-okay? So, think about what you're trying to say. Think about what you're trying to do. All you anti-gun Nazis, no. All you gun lovers out there, all you pro-gun, you pro-constitutionalists out there, even if you don't like guns, stand on this. Do not let them touch our Constitution, because it's a slippery slope once they do.